Good evening, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Welcome to the another episode on the discussion with regards to 2024 prelims. Now, we have already done almost everything, and now only two major subjects, polity and economics, are pending. And this time I am here to discuss the questions of Indian polity with you. Trust me, after many years, I'm doing the discussion of the polity, but looking at the question paper, it is, I should not boast, but it's a cakewalk. It's really a very easy paper. And overall, if you look at today's paper, I've gone through the questions of history, I've gone through the questions of IR, I've gone through the questions of polity. So almost I can say by now, I've seen more than 40 questions. And compared to last year, it is a much easier paper. I have not gone through the paper 2 right now, CSAT, so I cannot make a definite prediction with regards to the cutoff. But then the cutoff would be higher than last year. It may touch 3-figure mark also, but then I think it would be something in the range of 97, 98, something like that, plus minus 2-3 here. But then that should be the range of the, I would say, the cutoff this year. And of course, CSAT would play a very important role, like it has been playing for the last few years. Without wasting the time, let us look at the questions. Altogether, there were 17 questions. Yeah, you can take 17 questions for polity. 1 or 2 questions here and there can always be, according to the analysis. And let us look at the first question. Question number 1, how many delimitation commissions have been constituted by the government of India till December 2023? Now, if you all ask me, in my opinion, this was one of the easiest questions of this paper. One of the easiest. Now, you all have already studied Delimitation Commission of India. This is a commission which is established by Government of India. And this is established under the Delimitation Commission Act. Now, what does it do? Its major function is it's tasked to redraw the boundaries, whether those boundaries relate to your legislative assembly or to the Lok Sabhas. And these boundaries which are redrawn, they are redrawn based on the last census. As you all know, present boundaries that are, delimitation of constituency that has happened based on 2001 census, and it is based on Delimitation Act of 2002. Now, if I know this much, yet I don't know the answer, because 1, 2, 3, 4, all the 4 are the options here. So what is the correct answer? The correct answer is that there have been 4 delimitation commissions. They have been established through the Delimitation Commission Acts of 1952, 62, 72, and what I just now wrote, 2002. So overall, the answer is 4. It's an easy question. Why such a question has been asked? In my view, this question has come because of the fact that there is a lot of talk about J&K. The talk about that redrawing of the boundaries, Delimitation Commission was appointed over there. Very soon the assembly elections may be happening over there. Next Delimitation Commission, presently it appears that this would be done in 2026 based on 2021 census, which till now is postponed. It has not taken place till now. So overall, this is an easy question, and I hope most of you would have got it correct. Now let us look at the second question. Now, Constitution 71st Amendment Act 1992 amends the 8th schedule to the Constitution to include which of the following languages? Now 4 options: Konkani, Manipuri, Nepali and Maithili is given. And trust me, I coming from Bihar, and I knew that the language which is spoken in my state was not included here in the 1992 amendment. And moment I saw Maithili was not included, I knew the answer was 1, 2, 3. So again, I can put it under medium category, but for many I would put it under easy category because it is taught in the, polity. It's very easy and it is taught. So if you see here, this 71st amendment of the constitution which is being talked, they had included 3 languages. As you can see here, Konkani, Manipuri, though Methi also it is spoken, officially Manipuri word is used, and Nepali. And through the addition of these 3, this had gone to 18. So now if I am talking about this has gone to 18, so slightly I'll give you the background of this. Initially, initially the 8th schedule was formed, it had 14 languages. Later on in 1967, the 21st amendment was done. And through that 21st amendment, Sindhi was added. So this became your 15th. Of course, I'm talking about your 16, 17, 18 being over here. Later, Bodo, Dogri, Santhali, of course Mathili, they all were added to this 8th schedule through the 92nd Amendment Act. And this was done in the year of 2004, and thus our list has now reached 22 languages are there in this 8th schedule presently. So you can see 14 initially, 15th one is Sindhi, 16, 17, 18 are these 3. The 71st Amendment and 92nd Amendment brought the 8th schedule presently to 22 languages. So this answer is A. Again, medium to easy, depends on what you are having the knowledge. Now moving ahead, let's move to the 4th question of the paper. Which of the following statements are correct about the Constitution of India? Number 1, powers of the municipalities are given in Part 9A of the Constitution. Number 2, emergency provisions are given in Part 18 of the Constitution. Number 3, provisions related to amendment of the Constitution are given in Part 20 of the Constitution. Select the answer using the code given below. Now again, if you look, original Constitution of our country, when it was formed, it had 22 parts. As you all know, later many amendments were done, and presently there are 25 parts. Now most of you, these are some basics of our polity subject. For example, let's say if I talk about part 1. Now you all know, and let's say I'll mention 4 parts. Now moment I say part 1, automatically it comes to my mind union and its territories. Part 2, citizenship. Part 3, FR, that is fundamental rights. Part 4, DPSP, directive principles of state policy. Part 4A, fundamental duty. Part 5, union. Part 6, states. Part 7, the states in Part B of the first schedule. Of course, Part 8 is your union territory. Now, I said initially 22, now 25. That means some changes have happened. So you can see this Part 7, states in Part B of the first schedule. This, which used to be Article 238, has been repealed. And all these have some articles like your union and territory, 1 to 4, 5 to 12, 12 to 35, your fundamental rights, 36 to 51, your DPSP, 51A, fundamental duty. All these articles are there. So I have already given you a much, idea about this. Now, what about these? Absolutely all of them are correct. Powers of the municipalities are given in Part 9A of the Constitution. Let me tell you, Part 9 is Panchayat and Part 9A is your municipality. Part Panchayat is 243 article to 243O, and this is 243P to 243ZZ. Similarly, emergency provisions are given in Part 18 of the Constitution. Absolutely correct. This is 352 to 360 articles. Last, The amendment of the constitution, the provisions related to that is given in part 20. That's article 368. All three of them are correct. D is your answer. I would say a very easy question. I would say this is a question that most of you should have got it correct, because this is something that's, I would say the basics of the polity. Very, very easy, direct question, directly in Lakshmikant. In any class notes, you would find it. Moving ahead. Question number 5. Which one of the following statements is correct as per the Constitution of India? Now, if you asked me, at the first glance, I thought that this is a very tough question. Why? Because why should I be remembering every subject under state list? Why should I remember every subject under the union list? Why should I remember every subject under the concurrent list? It's practically impossible for me to remember. But then I looked at the options, and it is asking one of these 4 is correct. That is interstate trade and commerce, interstate migration, interstate quarantine, corporation tax. And are these state, union and state list? Now when I looked at this, I understood one thing. Anything that should be interstate, between 2 states, it's not intra, it's inter. That should not be a state subject, rather that should be a union subject. It should be under the union list. So I understood, number 1, it is union list 42. Number 2 and 3, they both are at union list 81. Of course, C is now correct answer. Interstate quarantine is a union subject under the union list. Even corporation tax is not a state list. It is under the union list, article number 85. So, nobody expects you to remember all the 97, union list and all those number of lists under the state and concurrent. But then, you have to, use, I would say, smartness in the examination hall, that how do I get to the answer? And moment there is any interstate thing, it is very, very tough that states would be given the right to make the laws on that. So that's why all the interstate, all these 3 should have been the union one, and that's how C is the answer. I'm putting it under the medium level. I'm not calling it very tough, I'm not calling it very easy, but this is more of a medium level question. Now, moving ahead to the question number 6. Under which of the following articles of the Constitution of India has the Supreme Court of India placed the right to privacy? I place this as an easy question. Absolutely no doubt. If Article 21, as recently as in April, there was a landmark judgment that had come from Supreme Court, which said, the judgment had said that the candidates have a right to privacy. And right to privacy, there are many other points. It's an intrinsic part of Article 21. In polity, again, these are certain points which you should definitely get 2 marks. There is absolutely no doubt about this. Whenever you study about some landmark judgments like Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India case, similarly A.K. Gopalan case, all that talks about your Article 21. And slowly this Article 21 has only become broader. And many important things like right to privacy already we are talking about. Similarly, right to go abroad, right to shelter, all this comes under your right to privacy. So 6th question, the answer is D. From my perspective, it's an easy question. So if you look, again I'm saying right now I've done 5 questions. More or less they were all easy. There is nothing much concept based here. They are a bit factual, a bit, common sense, and if you have studied your Lakshmikant also properly, till this point, you could have answered most of the questions of polity. Moving ahead, 7th question. What are the duties of the Chief of Defence Staff, CDS, as a head of the military affairs? Number 1, permanent chairman of Chiefs of Staff Committee. Number 2, exercise military command over the 3 service chiefs. Principal military advisor to Defence Minister on all tri-service matters. Select the correct answers given below. Now, when I was talking to many teachers, most of them, they said that, see, we do not teach this under polity. This is mainly taught under internal security. The topic of CDS is there. And if you look at this particular point, CDS, see, he presently is the principal military authority and the senior most, I would say, appointment of the Indian Armed Forces. So basically, he is deemed to be the professional head of all the 3 armed services. So he is the highest ranking officer as far as the Indian military is concerned. So if you look at his roles and responsibilities, yes, he is the permanent chairman of the Chief of Staff's Committee. And as the permanent chairman of the Chiefs of Staff Committee, CDS is the principal advisor to Defence Minister on all the tri-service matters. Inter-service, integration, coherence, functioning. On all these matters, he has the, he is the biggest or the principal military advisor. That means 1 is correct, 3 is correct. And now if you see, this is not correct, this is not correct. What about 2? Does he exercise military command over the 3 service chiefs? No, absolutely not. CDS does not exercise the military command over the 3 services. That's why you can eliminate option 2 and thus your answer comes out as D. This is the correct answer for the question number 7. Overall, I would put it under the medium category, and the reason putting it under the medium category is because you do not expect internal security questions to come as polity questions over here. But this has come. Now moving ahead from 7th question, let us move to 10th question. Which of the following statements about the Ethics Committee in the Lok Sabha are correct? Now, if you all remember last year, this was very much in news because of the Mahua Moitra case, which was going on. The matter was brought to Ethics Committee. Later, she was suspended from Lok Sabha. Her membership had been taken away. So, Ethics Committee was very much in news. So, now options are given to us. Number 1, initially it was an ad hoc committee. Number 2, only a member of the Lok Sabha can make a complaint relating to unethical conduct of a member of the Lok Sabha. Number 3, this committee cannot take up any matter which is sub judice. Select the answer using the code given below. Now, let me tell you, if you look at this, first time when there was a talk about this, it was in 1996. There was a conference of presiding officers and there this idea was mooted. So then Vice President and of course the ex officio chairperson of Rajya Sabha, Mr. K.R. Narayanan, he constituted this ethics committee for upper house, that is Rajya Sabha, in 1997. The idea, as the name suggests, this ethics committee was to look into moral and ethical conduct of the members. Now, initially, when this was appointed, it was appointed as a ad hoc committee. Absolutely nothing wrong about that. One has to be in the answer. Now later, from this, it reached Lok Sabha also. And in the 13th Lok Sabha, Ethics Committee was formed. And then Speaker was Mr. GMC Balyogi. And it became a permanent part of the House only in 2015. So initially in 2000 also it was created. Now some very landmark cases involving this committee was 2005 cash for query case. Now that's one. Number 2, only a member of the Lok Sabha can make a complaint regarding the unethical conduct of a member of Lok Sabha. Now, problem is, this is wrong. Second statement is wrong. Clearly, the moment it is wrong, your answer becomes C. Now, why is it wrong? See, basically, this statement is wrong because any person can complain against a member. Now the important thing is through the Lok Sabha MP along with the evidence. So if I also want to complain, I can complain through any member of Lok Sabha. Of course, I need to give evidence. So your second point is that only a member of Lok Sabha can complain. No, anyone can complain, but through the member of Lok Sabha, the complaint has to go. So the second point is wrong. As I said, these two are wrong. Correct answer is C. Clearly, this committee cannot take up any matter which is sub judice. Absolutely correct. From 10th, let us jump to now question 16. And overall, if I tell you this, I would say medium level question. Not very tough, not very easy. Easy, medium level, because it was in news. You must have heard a few things about this, and that's why it becomes slightly easier question. Moving to 16th now, very, very easy question. In fact, the first lines of your Lakshmikant in the chapter of amendment of the Constitution talks about this. In the introduction slide, they are talking about this. As per Article 368 of the Constitution of India, the Parliament may amend any provision of the Constitution by way of addition, variation, repeal. Select the correct answer. So again, Part 20 of the Constitution, Article 361, Clause 1. This Constitution's article grants constitutional power to make any amendment, empowers the Parliament to amend the Constitution, and in order to amend the Constitution, the Parliament can, if they want, add anything, if they want, can repeal anything, and if they want, can bring any variation to the wordings. So through all these three ways, there can be changes that can be brought as far as the Constitution is concerned. So 16th, the answer is all three of them are correct. 1, 2, and 3, in my opinion, nothing more can be easier than your 16th question number. I'm sorry. Moving ahead, let's move to 18th question. Which of the following statements are correct in respect of a money bill in the Parliament? Number 1, Article 109 mentions special procedure in respect of money bills. A money bill, point number 2, a money bill shall not be introduced in the Council of States. Number 3, the Rajya Sabha can either approve the bill or suggest changes but cannot reject it. Number 4, amendments to a money bill suggested by Rajya Sabha have to be accepted by the Lok Sabha, and again select these options. Now, trust me, money bills, so many questions, so many times has come. These are some of the most basic things that are taught in your classes. And the moment I saw this question, I knew one point is very, very badly framed. Amendments to a money bill suggested by Rajya Sabha need not be accepted by Lok Sabha. Who says that it is mandatory for the Lok Sabha to accept the changes or amendments that have been brought by Rajya Sabha? No, absolutely not. This is a wrong statement. Moment 4 is wrong. D is wrong. Now, we have got 3 options, but one thing is constant. Point number 2. That means a money bill shall not be introduced in Council of States. Absolutely correct. We always talk about powers of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and we say Lok Sabha is more powerful than Rajya Sabha, specifically with regards to your money bill. So clearly point number 2 is a correct statement. Now what about the first 3? Article 109 mentions special procedure in respect of money bill. Now let me tell you, most of the time when we talk about money bill, we talk about 110. But then Article 109 is absolutely correct that they talk about special procedure in respect to money bill. So when you speak about the Article 109, clearly it is mentioned special procedure in respect of money bills. And the line number 1, Article 109 is a money bill shall not be introduced in the Council of States. So if you would have read about Article 109, you could have got these two statements correct. That means 1 has to be in the answer, B cannot be the answer. What about third? Rajya Sabha can either approve the bill or suggest changes but cannot reject it. Absolutely correct. They cannot do any modifications. That's why we say when it comes to money bills, Rajya Sabha is more or less like a toothless body. So 3 is also a correct statement. The correct answer is C. 1, 2 and 3, all of them are correct statements with regards to question number 18. Moving ahead, move to question number 20. The Northeastern Council NEC was established by the Northeastern Council Act 1971. Subsequent to the amendment of NEC Act in 2002, the council comprises which of the following members? Now, trust me, many of you might have got some confusion. And just one second, I thought if you ask me, this was an easy question. Not a tough question. This is an easy question. Moving to the question number 28. See, I would put it under the medium section. See, why I'm putting it here? Because first of all, they already have mentioned that there was an amendment done in 2002. Now, under this amendment, the members, who all are the members of this NEC? First of all, understand, the Northeastern Council is a council which is there for the economic and social development of the Northeastern region. What all comprises of the Northeastern region? The 8 states. Which are these states? Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Tripura, Sikkim and Nagaland. These are your 8 states. Now the members of these NEC, who are the members? The governors of all these 8 states as well as the chief minister of all these 8 states. So 1 and 2 has to be in the answer. Cannot be the answer, cannot be the answer. Now clearly that means 3 has to be the answer. 3 members to be nominated by the President of India. Good. Now that why I put this question under medium section is because when I saw this question, I had a lingering doubt. Is the Home Minister of India not a member of this? I thought maybe he could be a member. He could not be a member. I was not sure. And then I googled and I found out, oh, he is not a member. So A is the answer. 1, 2, 3. So clearly, sometimes in examination, these questions, when the membership comes, you are not always sure that whether, because, Home Minister, Northeast Council, separately it is taught in polity, people think he should be a member of this. But then it is found out that he is not a member of this council. So the answer is A, and that's why I have put under medium category, because some people would have definitely gone ahead and gone with D as the answer, thinking maybe the Home Minister of India also would be a member of this. Let us move to question number 21. Consider the following statements regarding the Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam. Number 1, provisions will come into effect from the 18th Lok Sabha. This will be in force for 15 years after becoming an act. There are provisions for the reservation of seats for scheduled caste women within the quota reserved for the scheduled caste. Again, find out the statements which are given above, which are correct. Now, if you see here, first of all, if you all would have listened to the debates, because what is this Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam? This is nothing, but it is women reservation bill. And if you all would have remembered, it was clearly told that this would come into being only from 2029. That is, it would come into being from 19th Lok Sabha, not from 18th. One is wrong. Now, this is the reason why I say polity is having easy questions. You ignore, you just get 1 point correct and you can come to the answer very easily. Unlike your history where the options are 1 statement correct, 2 correct, 3 correct, all 4 correct. This is the reason polity gives you a lot of easy marks. And you can see I just knew, no, it will come into effect from 2029, 19th Lok Sabha. I know 1 is wrong and I go and I get the correct answer. But anyways, last year both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, they passed this women's reservation bill, which was your 128th constitutional amendment bill. And it was also known as Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam. Now, if you see here, clearly this bill brought or inserted an Article 330A, under which, women would be given reservation under the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Similarly, Article 332A was also given, so that in Legislative Assembly also women are, given reservation of seats. Similarly, there was talk about delimitation which will take place under Article 334A, all that was talked about. And it was also mentioned that this will be in force for 15 years. But beyond that, it was also clearly mentioned, however, it shall continue till such date as determined by a law made by Parliament. So, this is the answer. This clearly makes 2, 3 as the answer. C is your answer, and I would call it as a easy question based on the options only. It's a very easy question. Moving ahead, come to 23rd. Very, very easy question now. Supreme Courts now. I don't have to say anything about this. A writ of prohibition is an order issued by the Supreme Court or High Court to what? It is issued to a lower court. This lower court is prohibited to continuation of proceedings in a case. In another simple words, this is a stay order. Writ of prohibition is also termed as stay order. That is, lower court, High Court or Supreme Court may ask a lower or inferior court or even a quasi-judicial body and prohibit them from listening to a particular case. See, other options are just made in a manner to have this question. Simple, clear, easy question. 23, you had to go no other place, but this is a easy question. Moving to 24, last 5 questions. 24, it is the governor. Okay, consider the following statements. It is the governor of the state who recognizes and declares any community of that state as a scheduled tribe. A community declared as a scheduled tribe in a state not be so in another state. Again, which of the following is correct? 1, 2, both 1 and 2, neither 1 and 2. Now, again, see, many times in CNAs and all this, we have discussed that it is not the governor, but rather the president of the state, or the union, who can declare, any community as the scheduled tribe community. So, or, scheduled caste. So, of course, they do the consultation with the governor. And then the notices are issued. But it's not the governor which issues or who issues this. That's wrong. 1 is wrong, A is wrong, C is wrong. Now, if you come to B and D, it is true. In one state, a particular tribe could be a scheduled tribe, but necessarily it is not that in the other state also it would be a scheduled tribe. So that's not true. So absolutely correct statement. Community can be ST in one state, may not be ST in another state. So clearly the answer to this question is B. So 24, the answer is B. Moving ahead. From 24, let us go to 25. With reference to union budget, consider the following statements. Union Finance Minister on behalf, and one more second, I'll put this as a medium level question. Not that easy, not that hard, but then, okay, you could have put it under easy category also. Number 25th question, with reference to union budget, consider following statements. Number 1, the Union Finance Minister on behalf of the Prime Minister lays the annual financial statement before both the houses of Parliament. Number 2, at the union level, no demand for a grant can be made except on the recommendation of the President of India. Again, 1, 2, both 1, 2, none of these. Now, again, moment I saw the first line, I know it's never done on behalf of the Prime Minister. It's always done on behalf of the President. So if you all have read Article 112, Article 112 says what? The President shall, in respect of a financial year, cause to be led before both the houses of Parliament a statement of estimated receipts and expenditure of the government, which is known as annual financial statement. So, 1 is wrong. Moment 1 is wrong. What about this? At the union level, no demand for a grant can be made except on the recommendation of the President. Absolutely correct. This is Article 113 subclause 3, no demand can be made for a grant until unless the recommendation comes from the president. So she is the head of the state. All this with regards to anything regarding money has to come from her. 2 is correct. B is the answer. Let us move to question 43. The last 3 questions. With reference to the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, consider the following statements. While any resolution for the removal of the Speaker of Lok Sabha is under consideration, he/she shall not preside, he/she shall not have the right to speak, he/she shall not be entitled to vote on the resolution in the first instance. Now, if you all think, XYZ is the Speaker. Right now, I cannot name anyone who is the Speaker. That's why I'm giving the example as XYZ. Logically, if the matter is related to removal of XYZ, clearly, he/she shall not preside. He should not be the presiding officer at that point. One has to be correct. Now, he/she shall not have the right to speak. Now, this is something which is incorrect because he or she can speak and they can take part in the proceedings of the house. That means 2 is wrong, and moment 2 is wrong, I did not have to even go to third question. He/she shall not be entitled to vote on the resolution of the first instance. Clearly it's a wrong statement because please understand, in the first instance he or she can vote, though they cannot vote if there is a equality of vote. If there is a scenario where there is a equality of vote, then he or she may not vote. So clearly A is the answer, and again, easy question. Trust me, the options, the manner in which they have been formed makes polity questions very, very easy. Moving ahead to the second last question of polity, question 44. With reference to Indian Parliament, consider the following statements. Number 1, a bill pending in the Lok Sabha lapses on its dissolution. A bill passed by the Lok Sabha and pending in the Rajya Sabha lapses on the dissolution of the Lok Sabha. Number 3, a bill in regard to which the President of India notified his/her intention to summon the houses to a joint sitting lapses on the dissolution of the Lok Sabha. Now, you did not have to do anything. You should know the cases when a bill lapses. What are the cases when the bill would lapse? So here it is asking, a bill pending in the Lok Sabha lapses on its dissolution. Absolutely. A bill that's originated in Lok Sabha and pending in Lok Sabha lapses. Similarly, a bill originated, passed in Rajya Sabha but pending in Lok Sabha again lapses. So clearly one has to be in the answer. C cannot be the answer. This cannot be the answer. I have to only think about 2. This is no need to look into this. Now, if you see here, that means if I see the statement number 3, it would not lapse. Let me tell you about statement number 3. A bill in regard to the President of India, where she or he has notified her or his intention to summon the houses of a joint sitting, would not lapse. So 3 should not be in the answer. What about 2? A bill passed by Lok Sabha and pending in Rajya Sabha lapses on dissolution of Lok Sabha. Absolutely. This is also correct. So this is 1 and 2. B is the answer, 44. I would put it under not more than medium. I'll give you one more example where the bill would not lapse. For example, a bill pending in Rajya Sabha and not passed by Lok Sabha does not lapse. A bill passed by both the houses but waiting for assent of the President does not lapse. So just know which bill lapses, which does not, and you would get to your correct answer. Moving to the last question. 45. With reference to the Parliament of India, consider the following statements. Prorogation of a house by the President of India does not require the advice of the Council of Ministers. Number 2, prorogation of a house is generally done after the house is adjourned, sine die, but there is no bar to the Constitution of India propagating the house which is in session. Number 3, dissolution of the Lok Sabha is done by the President of India, who, save in exceptional circumstances, does so on the advice of the Council of Ministers. Now, if you look here, which of the following are correct? Let us look at number 1. Prorogation of a house by the President of India does not require the advice of the Council of Ministers. The statement in itself is very, very bad statement. 1 is a wrong statement because the President is bound to act on the advice of Council of Ministers except when he or she is enjoying discretionary power. So 1 is wrong. Clearly 3 is correct. That means dissolution of the Lok Sabha is done by the President of India, who, save in exceptional circumstances, does so on the advice of the Council of Ministers. Yes, again, has to be bound on the aid and advice of the ministers, except in circumstances which are exceptional. What are the exceptional circumstances? Exceptional might be when the government has lost the majority and then it is suggesting something to the President. Then the President does not have to listen to that particular government, because anyways it's a lame duck government. Now comes your only option is option 2. What about that? Prorogation of a house is generally done after the house is adjourned, sine die, but there is no bar to the President of India propagating the house which is in session. Absolutely correct statement. B is totally correct. The President can prorogue the house while it is in session only, though the President usually issues a notice, and for this, a few days notice is given. But then 2 is also correct. C is the answer, and this way we are done with the discussion of your 17 questions. I would say put it as medium, maximum. None of the question in reality, as far as the polity were concerned, were tough. And if you ask me, I would call out of 17 questions, almost 10 were easy. Maybe around 7 would be, medium, or maybe one of them would be tough. It depends if you had studied the internal security question or not. And at times you had to apply some common sense. With that, we are done with the discussions of the questions related to polity. Let's meet in the next session with the last part, where we shall be discussing the questions related to economics. That's all with this session. From this session, thank you. Goodbye.